Are you struggling to plan to get everything done that you need to get done in your life? Well, today we're going to look at the Harvard Business School's top #1 priority planning system by Cal Newport. It's called time block planning. Well, hi everyone, this is Crystal from A Crystal Clear Life, where we focus on planning, organizing, and living a more simplified life. Today I want to talk to you about Cal Newport's book, The Time Block Planner. Okay, now this is a book and paper planner that I have been reading through and getting some ideas from, but you know me, I'm a digital planner, so I'm going to show you some pages today that I recreated in OneNote that take advantage of Cal's thought processes and implementation for that, and use it in more of a digital manner. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, let me talk to you about something called Parkinson's Law. Now, Parkinson's Law states that if you have a task to do, let's say wash the dishes, and you don't give yourself a set time to do it, I want the dishes done before Jeopardy comes on, that task of washing the dishes could expand and expand and expand and expand to fill all the time that you might have in an evening. Okay? So what Parkinson's Law states is that if you do not set limits for a task that you need to finish, then it will continue to grow and fill up all the time that you have. Okay? Now, that's not very productive. So what we want to do is we want to initiate anti-Parkinson's Law, where we say to ourselves, I have 25 minutes to finish the dishes and clean the kitchen and shut it down for the night so that I can move on to do the rest of the things that I want to do this evening. Okay? Setting boundaries and planning your time to meet your values and your time constraints is really the best way to get things done. Now, the title of this video is How I Use Time Blocking integrated into my GTD practices. You know, David Allen's Getting Things Done, or GTD practices, and Cal's time blocking really kind of go hand in hand. They have a lot of things in common. So today I want to talk to you about some of those things, okay? One of the things that David Allen says is there are 3 ways of working. Those 3 ways include planning out the work that you need to do, completing that work that you need to do, and unscheduled interruptions. Planning for that unplanned work, those unscheduled interruptions. Now, we all have those, you know. You think that you're going to get work done on a project, and the phone rings and somebody needs something urgently, and because they need it urgently, you suddenly have to get involved and take part in that. Okay, we all have those kinds of things. Or somebody walks by your office, knocks on the door and says, hey, you got a minute? And it ends up being 45 minutes later, and the work that you had planned to do during that time block is now gone. Okay? All right, so we all have those situations, and we know that that's going to happen, and we really just need to make a plan for that, okay? And we also have to learn things like if somebody knocks on your door and says, hey, do you have a minute? You can say, no, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of something. Can I call you at 4, or whatever time you have available? Or you can simply shut your door, and that may be an indication to people not to bother you, okay? All right. So let's talk about this time boxing theory, because, Cal Newport writes this whole book on how time boxing works, and he has various pages where you can write down in your planner, the box or the plan that you have for the day, and then how things actually work out. I'll show you a couple of those here. And you can see here that he has a place for planning the work that you're going to do and then recording the actual work that gets done. Sometimes that actual work changes 2 or 3 times before the day is over. Time boxing is really a time management technique where you predetermine all of the things that you want to get done during the day and how much time it is going to take to do each one of those tasks. Okay? Sometimes that may need to be an approximation because it may be the first time you've done a task and you don't really know how much longer it's going to be. That's okay too, because that's part of that unscheduled work. Cal has another concept that he talks about that is deep work, and he likes to allow like 2 hours or more for that deep work to occur. Some people say, no, I like to do shorter, like Pomodoro, 15 or 25-minute bursts of work and then take a 5-minute break. I personally happen to be somebody that works better on those longer time frames. I think it was because of all of those years of being a teacher and just having, the class periods. I worked in double class blocks. So instead of a 45-minute block, it was usually a 90-minute block. So an hour and a half for me is a good amount of time to work. So I like to do an hour and a half to 2 hours of work. Once I get started on something, I like to continue until I am finished with that time block. Cal will also tell you that time blocking is an iterative process. Every day may look different. Every season of your life may look different. If you're somebody like me who was a teacher, your summer days are much more unstructured. Your fall and spring days when you have classes are much more structured, and you have to take that into account, okay? If you were somebody who works a regular 9 to 5, you may have set designated meetings for every week or every day. But then there are afternoons that are much more open and flexible. Okay. So just realize that it doesn't have to be completely structured, that you can be flexible. And again, as David Allen would say, go ahead and plan what you want to do, but allow for that flexibility, allow for those interruptions. All right. Another advantage to time boxing, I think, is it allows you to focus on one particular task that you're doing and get away from all of the multitasking that people try to do. We know that our brains really do not multitask at all. We can only do a single thing at a time. Other items may pop into our head, those become distractions, and in the time boxing method, there is a way to write down those distractions, much like David Allen would tell you in Getting Things Done. Write it down so that you don't forget it, put it in your inbox, and deal with it at the end of the day. Okay, so you can see there are, again, a lot of similarities between this time boxing method and David Allen's Getting Things Done. Okay. All right, so the first thing that Cal Newport talks about is doing a brain dump, figuring out exactly what it is that you need to do for the day. And writing all of that information down. I like to kind of organize it as it comes to me. So if you've seen my time blocking video, I'll list it up above if you have not. I have certain rhythms in my day, certain times of my day, now that I'm retired, where I like to be outside and gardening, or I like to be working on my crystal clear life things, or I like to be doing creative work. So I have these different chunks of time during the day. So as I think about things that I need to do, I will write them down in those various categories. Okay. Once you then have written everything down, you kind of need to prioritize and take a look at how much time these things are going to take. Are you going to be able to accomplish all of that task in one day? Or is this a larger task or a project, as David Allen would call it, where you need to break it down into different days? Okay. Once you've then prioritized, it's time to start making your schedule. Once you have made your schedule, then you can start working on those particular tasks. All right. Now that you have a big overview of what time boxing looks like, what I'd like to do is show you how I have kind of recreated this concept in the digital format in my OneNote notebook. So let's jump over to the computer. Okay, as you can see here on my screen, I have a sample page kind of filled out for you. Okay, so here on the computer screen, you see I have a sample day that I just filled out for you to give you an idea of what time boxing looks like. Okay, all right, so I have up here at the top a place to record my weather, what day of the week it is, and the date. And then in this middle section here, I have my brainstorming, okay? So I know that I have a set meeting for Monday morning. I have that down. I know that that meeting takes about an hour. During that meeting today, I would like to plan the weekend breakfast meetup, and I would like the status of the current projects that we have going on, okay? All right, so that's going to take an hour. Then, as I go out into the garden, I like to have a list of things that I'm going to do in the garden. So I would like to weed the front garden. That's going to take me a little over an hour. I would like to plant the pansies, which is going to take me about a half an hour. And I need to water the new trees that we planted. So that's going to take me about 15 minutes, okay? So all in all, that is about 2 hours of time. And I also have listed there that while I am gardening, I will be listening to my audiobook. All right. And then for Crystal Clear Life, I have things that I need to review. The greenhouse video for final edits, that's going to take me 25 minutes. I need to film a quick tip on file sharing. That will probably take me 30 minutes. I need to film my monthly plan with me. That will be an hour-long video. And I need to answer comments, and that will be about 15 minutes. Okay? Again, you can see I have my times listed there. Then I move on to creative and sewing projects. Again, cut and press binding for Valentine quilt. Going to take me about 45 minutes to do that. Press and assemble quilt sandwich for quilting. That will be an additional hour. Okay, so I've given myself about 2 hours worth of time to work on that. And then in the evening, it is family game night with the family. We are going to play the game of Sorry. And that's kind of our plan for the evening. Okay, so now that I have brainstormed all of the information here that I want to get done today and approximately how much time it's going to take, then I jump over to my hourly plan. Okay, and I have my hourly plan here starting at 7. This is a 2-column table that I set up with my hourly plan going from 7 all the way down to 10 o'clock. Okay, so that's kind of my whole day. And the first thing I have up there is my morning routine. I did not write down my morning routine as part of my brainstorming because it is a routine that I just do every day. And I don't need to think about what needs to be done. So that's things like getting dressed, taking your shower, brushing your teeth, taking your medication, all that stuff. Okay, it's just routine. Then I have down that my Monday morning meeting starts at 9 o'clock. And that happens to be a church meeting, so I have an hour scheduled for that. Then from 10 to 12, so my 2-hour block for gardening will come in during this time. I will have lunch at noon, usually with my husband, and then at 1 o'clock, I have allowed myself 3 hours here to work on my information for A Crystal Clear Life. Sewing and creative work will start around 4 o'clock and end about 6 o'clock when I will start prepping for dinner, and then family time starts at 7. Tidying up, that evening routine there at the end of the night, and I hope to be in bed by 10 o'clock. Okay, so that basically is my time blocking schedule and the things that I hope to accomplish during that time. Okay, this looks a little bit different than what Cal Newport has in his book. There are a couple of alternate plans that I want to talk about here at the bottom. Some folks like to do a plan where they have a column for the hour and the half an hour. So maybe they're somebody who does like the more Pomodoro method, and the first half of the hour they have something that they want to accomplish, like they break it down, like let's say our gardening stuff. They want to plant the pansies in the first half of the hour, and then they want to water the trees in the second half of the hour. But for them, they have to list both of those things to try to keep themselves on schedule. That's perfectly fine. You can do it that way. That's not an issue at all. That works great. Another way that people like to do it and Cal actually does more of this in his book, is he actually comes up with a plan based on, the time during the day, but then he actually puts down what actually happened during that time. So let's say if you look at my example here, planned at 8 a.m. was my morning routine, which I did. My morning routine actually occurred. And then my meeting at 9 o'clock apparently was canceled, so I was able to work in some exercise and walk on the lane. And in the garden, I was able to water the trees and plant the pansies and weed the outer front garden. And then I ended up having lunch on the porch with my husband. So even though something changed there, you can still record that change. And if you notice in Cal's book, if he needed to, he would go to an additional column and change it yet again. Okay, so if I needed to go in here, I could simply go in here and I could go to my table and I could add a column to the right. And I could, let's say, that the gardening didn't happen, that it started to rain. So maybe the rain came and I was not able to do that. So maybe I came in and cleaned the house at that point. Let me move this up so you can see it. So I cleaned the living room. Okay. So you get an idea there of how that works. You can keep adding columns and columns. Let me move it over here where you can see a little bit better. You can keep adding columns and columns and columns to make sure that you're recording actually what actually happened. Okay? All right. So there are alternate plans if this one particular plan is not working for you. Okay? All right. Another thing that Cal has in his book on his page is he has a list for other tasks. And he has ideas, okay? And so what those other tasks might be are, maybe if you finish something early and you have some extra time and you want to fill that time with other tasks that are meaningful, you have a list of other tasks right here that you might need to do. So let's say I finished my CCL work early and I wanted to make this phone call to call Charlie about the car tires to see if the car was finished so that I could pick it up tomorrow if that's, something that I needed to do. Or I needed to pick up the mail for the day. My mail is about a half a mile away from my house, so maybe on that walk on the lane, I was able to go down and pick up the mail, okay? So you see, by having a list of other tasks here that need to be done, you can fill that time, any gaps that you have in that time with things that are meaningful. All right. Now, as you are sitting and working on things, we do have those distractions that come into our minds. So this page here for ideas is a place for you to put those distractions. So I happened to be thinking while I was creating this page for you about Josephine Tay books to check out for our book club. And as I'm sitting here talking and filming this video today, I am thinking about a strawberry pie recipe. Why am I thinking about strawberry pie? I don't know. This is just how the brain works. And so rather than going, let me go look for strawberry pie, I will just add it to my list of ideas or things to think about. And then I will continue on filming this video and not even blink an eye about the strawberry pie. But it will not be forgotten because it is written down. That's another thing that David Allen and Cal Newport are very strongly suggestive about, that you don't just let things go, that you write things down so that you remember them, you put them in a trusted source so that you can find them in the future. Okay? All right. Now, I also included a section over here on this page for metrics and notes. And let's say something comes up during my meeting and I'm over here and I would write down that maybe I have to buy paper goods for the breakfast. That's now my responsibility. The flyers have been sent. Okay. And I can take other notes on that meeting as I need to. Okay. So I have a place for notes there. As regarding metrics, what metrics are basically habit tracking kinds of things. In the Cal Newport system. So, you may have want to keep a metric whether you've exercised every day, whether you've taken your vitamins, whether you've put in the amount of time working on a particular project that you needed to do. Maybe it's one of those procrastination projects that you're not wanting to get done. You're procrastinating about it, and you're telling yourself, I need to work on this 15 minutes or an hour every day, and tracking that matrix. Were you able to do that? Okay, so that's what this section over here is for. The metrics and notes, you can put in there whatever you need to keep track of for your own habits and metrics. All right. Okay, now the last box that I need to talk to you about on this page, Cal says, is his shutdown complete routine. And basically what he does at the end of the day, and this is to kind of create that boundary between work and home. Okay. Since I am somebody who works from home as a retired person, it's much more difficult for me to do that. But the concept is, at the end of the day, whether it's just for work or whether it's for life, that you go through your daily plan and you say, okay, these are the things that I was able to accomplish. Let's say there's something that you were not able to accomplish. Let's say I was not able to accomplish filming my monthly plan with me. I got it started. I got things started setting up, but I didn't get that finished. What I would do is I simply would copy that item and I would carry it to the next day. I would migrate it forward to the next day so that I know that it needs to be done. Okay. And I might even put some kind of symbol there. Maybe I have, let's see, I will change this from a bullet item and I will add, I like this one, this arrow here. Okay. So that tells me that that item has then been migrated to the very next day. All right. Okay, so going through everything that you wanted to get done, making notes like I did down here. We played the game Sorry, and my husband won 2 rounds of that game. We had to relearn how to play that game. It's been way too long since we played. But anyway, I wanted to record that note there as well that he won both rounds. Oh well, maybe I'll have better luck next time. Okay, so you go through and you record everything. You migrate anything forward that you need to. You take a look at these tasks and ideas. Maybe that strawberry recipe also needs to be migrated. So I can come up here and add that symbol as well. And then I will copy that and take that forward to the next day. So copy it and take it forward to the next day and paste it there. Okay. Maybe this Josephine Tay thing is something that I need to put one of my tags on. I need to do that as a research item. So I'll mark that as a research item so that it comes up in my task summary. So using my tags in OneNote is very helpful as well. There's also the call to make about Charlie. I will give that a tag as well. So I have a call or text to make there. And again, that will come up on my summary and I will not forget that. Okay. Pick up the mail I was able to do, and washing the towels is an action item. Okay. So once you've gone through and you've kind of processed all that, I need to buy paper goods over here. So I'm going to do that as a to buy item. There it is. Okay. And now that you have done all that and you can calm your mind because you have taken care of all of those little details, move things forward to the next day, done a little bit of pre-planning if you need to. I personally like to plan the night before so that I know what time I need to get up and what time I need to be moving and out of the house and all that kind of thing. But once you have done all of that and you are comfortable with where you are in your planning page and what you've able to accomplish in life, you go up here to your shutdown complete button and you click that. Okay, because there's something very satisfying about clicking that. And I also like to say it out loud. Shutdown complete. And now I'm done for the day. Okay, now I can go about and relax and start my nighttime routine so that I can get to bed and have some restful sleep. Okay, well, there you have it. That is Cal Newport's time boxing routine integrated in with David Allen's GTD method, combined together with Crystal's digital format to give us a new look at a new daily page that we might want to use in our planner at some point. Time boxing. Sounds pretty good to me. It's a lot like the time blocking system that I use that is so ingrained in my head now, it's pretty set in stone. But anyway, I like this idea. And remember, changes with the season, changes with where you are in life, changes with what you're doing. And so I think that's a really good thing. If you have used time boxing before, leave me a comment below and let me know how it was working for you. If you've read his book, I'd love your feedback on what you thought about the book as well. I just really think it's amazing how all of these productivity plans and ideas can kind of work together. Really, if you look at my planning system, it is a mishmash of great ideas that I pick up from all of these productivity people, and I think it works great for me. If you've learned anything new from this video, please go ahead and give me a like. Think about subscribing if you have not already, and thank you for watching. Until next time, here's hoping that you can live a more organized and simplified life through better planning. I use OneNote. Until next time, okay, bye. Time boxing video. We're gonna knock this one out.